Good morning, noon or night everyone, depending on when you're watching this. Welcome back to Infinity Towers. Now, in the last episode you may remember we made a unlimited supply of gunpowder, plenty of explosives. This episode is we're going to work on unlimited Certus Quartz from Applied Energistics. Now, the reason we're working on this is because in the last episode I asked if there was anything that anyone wanted to see be created, and one person, semi-dead, he asked, can we create infinite Certus Quartz? And the answer is yes, quite simply. After a bit of research and some mods I'm not particularly familiar with, I found a way to do it. It's pretty simple to understand, but quite long-winded and requires a bit of resources, so it's going to be a bit later on. But the idea of this is to use primarily these things, oak barrels. Now, oak barrels, when placed on mycelium, and with water in it, we'll turn the water into witch water. You see how the water is getting darker? And darker, and darker, and darker. Eventually it will become witch water, and you will be able to pick it up with a bucket, I believe. I believe you can pick up witch water with a bucket when it gets there. It's gone all purple, darker purple. There you go, got a bucket of witch water. Now if we put sand in here, it generates soul sand, which is what we're going to be using to make infinite Certus Quartz. So if we go upstairs, you'll see I've modified this slightly. This was getting a bit overwhelmed with nether quartz. So what I've done is nether quartz. This is getting a bit overwhelmed with gravel. So what I've done is got rid of the crusher in the middle, the thingy in the middle. I can't remember what it's called now. The thing in the middle that turned the sand into the enricher. That's it. The thing that turns sand into gravel. All we've got now is the output of any excess gravel that is made going to be pumped out this way, and we've got sand being pumped up to the floor above us. Now, as you can see up here, we've got 5 barrels of witch water, which has been created from this mycelium that's placed on, and we have these item ducts going into it. Now, I've got an item duct here, and we're just going to plug this in, and this will start pumping the sand from downstairs up into these barrels. And once into these barrels, it will be collected. It will be, let me turn this off on quickly. There we go. Once it gets up into these barrels, it'll turn it into soul sand, which will then be harvested or right-clicked by these things here. There you go, the autonomous activators, and sucked up by the vacuum hopper that's here. Now, the reason for this is basically just to make sure that the soul sand, basically, when right click, it doesn't actually go into the inventory of the autonomous activator. It kind of just pops out and goes wherever it pleases. So that's the reason we're using that vacuum hopper. It's just going to suck it up for us, quite simple. Now, these are going to need a constant supply of water. Right now, they've got water in the pipes, which is just kind of left over at the moment, just from when I was testing this. Now, I'm going to show you another way of getting infinite water. It's using another mod entirely. You can use a aqueous accumulator from thermal expansion, which will just generate water, but in Ender IO there are these things here called reservoirs, and reservoirs are pretty awesome things. Basically, you place them down. It's a multi-block structure of a 2x2 area, and you see it connected onto there already. What a reservoir does is it acts as a infinite source of water, like a free long water pool. So if I placed water down there and there, this will be an infinite water block as well. This basically just works the same, except in a 2x2 area. So we put one bucket of water in there, nothing's happening. We put a second bucket in there, it'll start filling up, and it gets sucked out of this pipe. And it'll always keep 2 in there, so it'll have 2 spare buckets in there at all times, and will consistently regenerate it. And eventually, it should just start filling up again. Should do. Once the all the water's been taken care of. There you go, so it's starting to fill up again now, and it's just used up 2 of them from the there, and now it's full, and we can just get more water out of here if we choose to, and they'll just constantly refill. So we've got water being pumped into these barrels out the back here. We have sand being pumped in there, and we have soul sand being collected from here. Now, what are we doing with the soul sand? Well, the soul sand is going to be pumped out of here and work its way down to this thing. This is another autonomous activator next to a sifter, or an oak sieve. What this will basically do is will generate us nether quartz. Now, nether quartz, I'm just going to turn this off so we don't get ahead of ourselves. Nether quartz is basically always guaranteed from one piece of soul sand. So you see the soul sand's going into here, getting placed in there, and it's being sifted like so. If we go into here and we get the inventory back up and we type in, click that, we can go backwards, and here we go. Soul sand into a sieve. It'll always give us a 100% chance of getting a nether quartz, I mean guaranteed, and a 33% chance of getting another one. And we get all this other useful stuff as well, but at the moment this is all just being pumped into this platinum chest up here, just a load of random stuff. And as you can see, you can also get Certus Quartz from this as well. If you, can you get Certus Quartz from that? I'm not sure. I don't think you can. No, it's not on the list. I don't know how that ended up in there, to be honest. But it shouldn't be in there anyway. So, that is how that is going to work, basically. The soul sand gets sifted, gets collected by this. There's already nether quartz there. And this is going to fill up and work its way round to this thing here. Now, this is a force furnace. This is from Dartcraft. This is the bit that took a bit of research on to begin with. Now, I've just got some coal in here. Just take some normal fuel. But what the difficult part is making this thing a frozen core. This requires a bit of depth into Dartcraft, unfortunately. If we come over here, this is a force infuser. It's hooked up to the mains, as you can see under there. What happens is you need to put in a upgrade tome. It starts off as level 1, and as you upgrade with upgrade tools, more of these slots become available, and more upgrades you can put in there. So we click info. To start with, the first level you have these 4 things here, and you basically need to put in a sword and put a force nugget and a claw on it, a pickaxe and put some sugar on it, and a force axe and put a force log on it. Now once you've done all that, you'll unlock tier 2, which is what I've got here. Now tier 2, you have, I believe that's lapis, that's some kind of paper, and I'm not sure what that is entirely. But then you get these things as well, and this is what you're after. This is a snow cookie. A snow cookie is quite simply made. You just put a snowball into a crafting recipe, like so, and you get a snow cookie. Very simple. This also requires some force to actually run. But after that, you need to make yourself an upgrade core, which basically requires an experience tome with 100 XP in it, and a force rod. I won't go into how to make them because it's not. This isn't a this isn't a multi-spotlight. This is a tutorial on infinite Certus Quartz. So we're going to pop the snow cookie in the top there, and the upgrade core there. I'm going to click go, and I'll start to do its infusion. It'll start to work on it. This does use up a bit of power, and I believe the power is used indefinitely, so if you don't have a good supply of power, this will just drain it. But as you see, it's now done. It's used up a little bit of liquid force in there. There's a little gap there, you can probably see. And you've got a frozen core. Now the frozen core simply puts in here, and what this basically does is turn nether quartz into Certus Quartz. So we're going to turn it back on here like so. There we go. All this stuff will go pumping out. There it goes. Up here I've got a I've got a gas tier. Get that in there. Up here I've got a blacklist item filter, just so everything's going to go to the nearest inventory, which is this one, except nether quartz, which is going to get pumped round to here. And as you can see, when it starts landing in here, like about now, nether quartz, dun, Certus Quartz, and you get these cool little particle effects and this noise every time one's completed. And there we go, Certus Quartz being pumped straight into here. And it's a pretty quick process as well. The only thing you're limited on is the speed at which this turns into get in there. Is that the water turns into witch water. So as long as you've got some mycelium, which you can get from a mushroom biome, or even some agent spores, which you can do by sifting some sand, you'll get some of that from that. That's basically it. That is how you automate Certus Quartz. A little bit of Dartcraft, a little bit of Ex Nihilo, and a little bit of thermal expansion, and even just a little bit of Ender IO, just because I can. And this also uses up. It takes full priority of the setup I've got downstairs for the gunpowder. So yeah, if you don't have the setup down there, you can simply pulverize some cobblestone anyway, like we've got set up, and just have the gravel exported somewhere else. So there we go. That is infinite Certus Quartz. Already we're on to 25, and if you used Applied Energistics before, they use so much of these quartz. You need it to be ground down into Certus Quartz dust as well. So yeah, that is that. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Not sure what we're going to do. But, yeah. Well, if you've got any suggestions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.